All right, going live in three, two, one. Oh, this is the Working Title Experience episode number 29, and I have a very special guest on with me today. This is someone who I actually only recently discovered, I would say, within the past 6 months or so. She's very talented, she is also a gamer. She makes movies, and I was recently using some of her videos to help me make some of my recent videos on my channel, and I'd like to introduce her. Here she is. Here is okay. You're going to have to excuse me, Laura, but you go by Law. Am I pronouncing it right?
Lao, but it's
Lao.
okay. I understand that Americans and English speakers say it like Laura, but in Spanish is Laura, so it's Lao.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry, I mispronounced
No,
it
it's
there.
okay. Don't worry. You're
And
good.
the interesting thing is, I just recently found out that you do speak fluent Spanish as well. I did not know that. And
Well, it is my I'm sorry, it is my mother language, so
I was impressed because you speak English so well. I thought that was your primary language. So, I, yeah, I was watching one of your videos and you're like speaking. I was like, oh my goodness! And then I saw it in the comment sections as well of one of your videos. You outright you said yes, it's your primary language. And so,
yeah.
tell us about who you are, Lau.
Well, I sometimes I it's hard for me to answer that question because I am so many things. That's hard to pinpoint like, okay, I am this, but I am me. I'm Lao, and I guess you could say I have a lot of interests and hobbies, but I primarily consider myself um, a really creative person, but also really geeky. I love games, and I mean, I have an entire channel to justify that for me. Um, and yeah, I just love to create, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I was thoroughly impressed with your videos. And
Thank you.
I'd like to say that whenever I make a video, one of the things I hate about people is when they steal from other people and don't give them credit. So what
Mhm.
I do is whenever I make a video, I actually upload a video and I'll say this is where I got the source from. This video is dedicated to you because I used so many of your videos to help me with my GTA 3 videos and my bully videos. And your videos, these videos you made were primarily made like I guess about 7 or 8 years ago. Is that right?
Yes, I the bully walkthrough was in 2012, I think, through 2013, and then in 2013 I did GTA 3. I remember very clearly because those were some of my favorite years.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to the
It's
walkthrough.
the walkthroughs are very informative. I mean, very well laid out. When you did the walkthroughs for these videos, and by the way, the links for Lao's channels are in the description below. So you have her primary channel. I listed this as your film channel, Lao. That's a new one though, right?
Yes, I just opened the film channel.
Okay. And then your regular channel is now called Lao Plays, which is your gaming
Yes,
channel primarily. And that
that's
was the
the OG.
OG. Yes. And then you have another one that's Lau and Riley's Chill. Explain that one. Lau and Riley's Chill Gaming second. Okay, your second gaming channel.
Yeah. So that's just a channel that one of my best friends and I opened almost a year ago now, because we spent a lot of quarantine playing games together. Um, but it's like we're like a mad chill friendship, and we always just talked about how, like, nobody plays like this on YouTube. Everybody's always like, super hyped or like screaming into the microphone, or when it comes to multiplayer gaming. So him and I were like, we need to make a channel that, like, it's the opposite of that. It's a channel where we literally just chill out and game, and people can watch that with us or play with us. It's a non-hype game channel, and I think it's really special.
Oh, I have honestly have not. I'm sorry to say I've not had a chance to watch enough of that. I've only watched your
It's okay.
primary channel and your film channel. So, but I will get around to watching the other one. I promise. But
Oh, you do take your sweet time.
I love the relaxed attitude you're having too. And
Oh,
I got to be honest right now, I'm a little nervous because I'm actually talking to someone who I respect. So I get a little
oh
little
wow,
nervous.
thank you. I
So
mean, I'm nervous too. I haven't done an interview in a while.
The
Almost a year, yeah.
as far as your channel goes, now let me get back to what I said because I got
Oh,
off topic there.
okay.
I was leading up to the fact that I don't like when people steal things from other people's
Hmm.
channels and things like that, because I've had people that have done that to me. It's very obvious sometimes because I'll look on a channel and it'll be the exact same thing, and they'll upload the exact same thing I did like a couple days later. It'll be several videos in a row, so it's very obvious that they're getting it from my videos.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do anything about it, but I always like to have this thing where I give credit to the people who do it. So I started my videos off of a website called GTA Forums, and
Yeah.
I used to comment on there a lot. I don't do it that much anymore, and I started uploading videos to help people out with their gaming for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and eventually
Hmm.
I stopped commenting that much on GTA Forums and just uploaded videos. So it kind of like transitioned from one to the other. And every time I would upload a video, I would find something on GTA Forums and I'd say, okay, this is a cool thing. And I'd say, this person discovered it. Here's a link to their comment on the GTA Forums. And it eventually led to videos. And I'd say, okay, I saw this person make this video. And I would actually do some looking into it first. I wouldn't just give them credit because sometimes they may have stolen it from someone else. So what I'd do is
Hmm.
I'd look around to see who actually found it first before I give credit to
Yeah.
the right person. So, and this is, like I said, this is my thank you, so to speak, for all the, so I don't want people to think that I was doing this on my own. I was using you as a guide to get those
Yeah.
videos made. Especially getting into Grand Theft Auto 3, I made what I call as a starter save, and that is doing everything you can at the very beginning of the game before doing any of the story missions. So
Oh, okay.
you had done all the stunt jumps, you'd done all the rampages, or I think you did all the rampages, right? Um, and I remember definitely the stunt jumps because I remember going through that one. And you had them all really nicely worked, laid out, and you gave a nice little description as the gameplay is going on. Did you actually record your voice while you were doing it live, or did you come back and dub your
Yes.
voice in later? You did, okay, because that was very well done. Because some
Yeah.
people
I always did. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the Wi-Fi kind of messed up, but it's okay. We're back.
we're good. Oh, good.
You there?
You're good.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Yep. Yep. Can you?
No, I was just saying that yeah, I always did live commentary because I feel like that was the easy way to do it for me because I feel like it's just double the work if you record your game and then later on you go and commentate. And I feel like back in the day that worked more for like Call of Duty commentators. Like they would record their best games and then kind of lay out a commentary over it. But when you're doing a guide, I think it's just a smarter move to do it live, and not just for the audience, but for yourself as well, because it saves you a ton of work.
Now, how many different games have you actually done? I know you have Bully and you have GTA 3. What other games
Yes.
do you have?
Well, my first walkthrough was Vice City, GTA Vice City, but I didn't do any commentary on that one. I just recorded myself playing through the game 100%. Um, well, though I did make a video that kind of went a little viral in that one because I explained how to pass the Demolition Man on PC, which um, was nearly impossible because of the controls. And it took me so many tries till I figured out how to do it. And then I was like, you know what, this could help somebody. Like, I want to save someone a headache, so let me just show the internet how I did it. And then it ended up being one of the most popular videos I still have. But other than that, it was just a normal little recorded walkthrough. And then I did San Andreas, which was when I started to do commentary. And I think in San Andreas was weird because I was finding myself as a commentator, and I was kind of breaking out of my comfort zone a little bit. And in Bully, that's the one I did after. I also continued doing commentary, and Bully was a really, really interesting walkthrough because I feel like it was the first bully walkthrough that, like, of the first 100% completion walkthrough for that game. And that's the reason why I did it, because at the time only one other guy had done one, and his name is Philip Escobedo.
Hmm.
And but he did his walkthrough in like a part, like let's plays, like, oh, part 23, rubber bands, stuff like that. And while I actually got a lot of my information from him, it was just really messy. Like, it was hard to find certain things, and I was like, you know, the internet needs a guide that is like super organized, because at the time the only thing you could find was just like walkthrough videos of just the missions, but there was no collectible hunting, side missions, nothing. It was just the main missions, and that was it. And so I kind of proposed myself to making that walkthrough, and I think it was the first one. And then after I did it, people started to catch up and do it as well. All these big GTA channels did them, and so that's why I always tell people, and I'm kind of going off topic a little bit, but do something. Don't be a trend follower, be a trend setter, because in the end, it's going to give you bigger success, I think,
I,
or you're going to be the pioneer of something new.
I agree. That's in fact, I said something similar to some of my viewers. They'll say, "What do you do?" I say, "Just be yourself. Be unique. Don't try to copy anybody."
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great advice. I 100% agree with that. The I will say that when I started off, my videos were very short, only 30 seconds, because I was using the free version of Fraps. I was too cheap to buy
Oh, yeah.
the regular full version. So you'll see my older videos were like just very, very short. As time went
Mm-hmm.
along, I got the paid version, and when I got that, I started making them much longer and more detailed. And um, at the time, it was when I was uploading them. I don't know if you remember this, but people, it was so early in YouTube that people were uploading videos of themselves, and they would hold a camera up to the TV,
Yeah,
and
I
instead of
did that
recording
too.
this. Oh, you did that? Okay.
So my really early videos, I have a one of GTA 4 and one of Uncharted 3, I think.
And they were holding up to the camera up to the
Yeah,
screen,
like,
shaking.
yeah, but those were the days.
And the funny part was when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, that you brought that up. I was one of the first people to have the a screen recorded image of it, and people said, "How did you get such a clean image?" I said, "I just use a screen capture." They didn't know what that, because
Nice.
they were on consoles, and at the time consoles were not as easy. You could record, but people just didn't know how to do it that easily.
Yeah, it
So.
was more complex than it is now. Now you can just do it from your console directly. It's crazy.
Uh-huh. Now, as far as the games, I noticed that your gaming channel has dropped down. They originally, I'm going to clarify this. The original one was your Lao was your gaming channel, but you call it Lao Plays very, very recently because you came out with your
Mm-hmm.
film channel. So just to differentiate the two there. But as far as your Lao Plays channel, does that are you going to expand upon the gaming, or because it didn't look like there was as much in there as there had been in the past? Have you leveled off a little, or did I misread that?
Wait, how do you mean? I don't
Uh,
understand the
d-
question.
do you have you been doing less gameplay videos than in the past? Is basically what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, back in the early 2010s, when I started gaming, I used to upload 2 videos per day of, but I did it because, number one, the videos were really short and they were easy to pull out. Um, but also because the walkthroughs were so long that in order for me to finish them in just a couple months, I needed to kind of purge out the content as fast as I could. Otherwise, it would take me a year, because, making walkthroughs takes a lot of time. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely used to upload a lot more back in the day. And to a certain extent, I miss that. But, I miss the satisfaction of like purging out content and watching it just kind of get views every day, and like, like it's committed little audience and stuff. But I've grown up and I don't have as much time as I did when I was 14. So I definitely, and now I have 3 channels, so I have to balance my time between all of them. So I can only upload weekly at the moment, for at least the gaming channels. The film channel, I'm still figuring out how often I'm gonna be uploading there.
Now, as far as the channels, the Lau and Riley channel, is that one that didn't seem to be as when I looked at it last, it didn't look like there was much as far as uploads. Is that right? I mean, I'm bringing it up right now on my other computer here to take a look at that.
Well, I
Um,
mean, we've uploaded quite a bit since then, probably.
okay, yeah, it seemed like there, yeah, because I'm looking at that like the last you had a week ago, you had one right there, and then the one
Mm-hmm.
before that was like 2 months. So,
Yeah, the reason is because I spent August and September editing my debut film
mm.
for my film channel, so I had to take some time off from the gaming.
So since you brought up your film channel, and I watched, I told you I watched two of your videos.
Oh,
Um, I'm bringing them up here. You only have one, oh, you still only have the one on there right now. So this channel recently started, and I'm looking at the date right now, July the 22nd. You have one video, and I watched it from beginning to end, and I thought it was very good. I like the cinematography. I like how you laid everything out. I liked the imagery. It was done very
wait, which
well.
one?
The one that's on your movie channel, Lao, the one
Oh,
that's called
starting
Starting.
small?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
You were saying?
the so as far as the content itself, it shows you as being a very caring and giving person, and it's very commendable. And I like that. The only thing I'd have to say, this is a minor critique, and I want you to take it, don't take it in a
Of
bad
course.
way. Uh, be careful the people that are standing on street corners. They sometimes those are scam artists, and
Yeah.
I often, my dad when I was younger, he would go around giving food to homeless people. He wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
approach the people at the traffic lights. He'd approach the ones that were huddled down in the alleyways to give them food because he felt that they were probably the ones that were more honest, honestly homeless people. I'm not saying, just be careful who's out there. You don't want to give it
No,
to the
of
wrong.
course. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
honestly, though, everything else was great. The different cameras that were in there, did that take? How did you actually edit those after the fact? Because you had a couple different cameras in your car.
Yeah.
So did you edit that like as like how to explain the process on that?
Well, it's a editing technique called multi-camera editing. And it's what they use in the multi-camera sitcoms, like the ones with the laughing track, the comedy shows or whatever, or like to give you an example, I don't know if you remember that 70s show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that kind of style where you have multiple cameras and you clap or you use a clapper, and then in post production you sync all of them through the audio through that clap, and so they all play at the same time. But using the number pad on the computer, you can switch between the clips or the different shots and choose which ones you want in the editing room. And yeah, that's how I do it. It's a lot easier than it looks. It's just syncing all of them and then just kind of cutting them and which ones you want at what time.
I'm trying to find. I'm having a problem bringing your channel up on the screen here. Give me one second. I have it on my other
Oh, don't worry.
computer, but I don't have it on this computer. It's for everyone watching. This channel is the first one listed in the video description, so you can click on it. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say, before we go any further, let's ask. I would like to do something that I do with all of our everybody that's on my show, is ask the audience a question. So let me go
Cool.
ahead and bring up our community tab here, or my community tab here. Give me one second. It's now this can be a question of any sort, anything you'd like to ask. And what we do is we ask a poll and give them up to 5 responses. And it's right here. And the reason we do the poll is because that way we can gauge the response a lot better. If we ask like a specific question, like what's your favorite color, and people just say I like red, I like green, we won't get that many. We won't be able to tally how many people actually responded. But if we do a poll, then YouTube gives us a tally of how many people actually participated in the vote, which tends to be a much higher. So we can get a better idea as to how much
Nice.
we engage the audience. So, do you have a question you'd like to ask?
I'll leave it up to you because I can't think of one right now.
Okay. Let's see. What? Hmm. I I'll ask you if you know to if we should go with this. What is your favorite kind of YouTube video? Maybe.
Sure. Yeah. What kind of content people watch?
Okay. So, what is your favorite? My spelling is atrocious sometimes, so if I misspell, let me know. Whoops, I already did.
I think Google lets you know.
Yes.
Or actually, you have Mozilla,
Yes. Yeah.
Firefox.
Oh, all right. Hold on a second. I'm in a. There we go. Kind of YouTube video. And I'm one of the older style people where I actually look at my keyboard while I'm typing. So if you're wondering why
Oh,
I make
you're
so many
good.
videos, that's why.
I still look at it sometimes.
There we
Ooh,
go.
it just got really gloomy.
Oh, really? What's the weather like there?
Yeah.
Like, is it getting ready to
Well, I
rain?
live in a tropical island, so I live in Puerto Rico. That's
The
why my main language is Spanish. But I mean, it's humid. And right now it's still pretty hot because we're exiting summer still. But it's been raining a lot. So the humidity has been overpowering and overwhelming sometimes, but it's all good.
what's the average temperature there? What do you get up to as far as
Well, during summer, it's like in the high 80s to mid 90s. And then during the winter and spring, I think it is. I don't know much about the seasons because I've never seen them change. But it's typically like in the lower 80s and maybe in the high 70s at night.
oh, okay. And as far as the rain, do you get like a major rainy season at all, or how does that is ever?
It's super random. There's no like rain seasons. I think in the summer it rains more, but I don't really know for sure. I don't know if you can hear the rain.
No, I can't hear it. It's probably your mic is probably very has a very tight pickup pad. If I pot up my own volume for my headset, I think I can hear it. Yes, but I think I don't think the average person will be able to hear it that well. So
Okay, that's cool.
we're good. So what kind of videos should we put in there? What do you think would be a good one?
Huh. I
Like
mean,
gaming?
I think yeah, gaming is a staple.
Okay.
Or and hmm. I mean, people. I think people love watching comedy, but I don't know. I don't. I personally don't watch comedy.
Okay. Uh, we can put it down there though. We'll put comedy down. Yeah. You can always change that if you want to.
There's
Okay.
a lore. I watch
Lore.
lore.
Lore. Now explain lore and what I watch a couple of people that talk about lore about they do science fiction and they start
Yeah.
talking and they'll pick like shows like Star Trek and they'll
Mm-hmm.
analyze the show from beginning to end. And one of the people I watched, his name was called Lore Runner. The other's called Lore Reloaded. And they is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I watch Star Wars Theory.
Okay.
He does a lot of lore about Star Wars, and that's where I got it from.
Okay. I've seen him periodically. I haven't
He's
watched
really
him
cool.
lately. Did I just hear thunder? Was that thunder?
Yes,
That was
every
loud.
afternoon. Yeah, it's been raining every afternoon.
As long as you're in a safe place.
Yeah, we're good.
So
We're
what else
chill.
would you like?
Um, hmm. Gaming, comedy, lore. What else do I watch? I'll leave this one up to you. I can't think of anything.
We could put I think
Spoofs?
sports would be good. Yeah, we'll put
But
sport. How's that?
yeah,
Like it? Okay, cool. And then what we'll do, we'll leave one more. It'll be they'll say your choice. Leave a comment. So that way anyone who feels left out, they can just add their own thing to
nice.
it.
Cool.
So
I like that.
So talking about Star Wars, is Star Wars a big? I know that you have Star Wars gaming videos. Is that something that's very much a part of your life?
Yeah. I mean, it's my childhood basically. I love it, and I've found myself revisiting it a lot in the last few years on my own, just like watching videos and stuff. And um, I when I came back, because I took a little hiatus off of YouTube for like 2 years, and when I came back and I decided to do gaming on my channel again, I wanted to do some Star Wars, and I've been doing Star Wars for a couple months.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Before we go any further, anything else? I'm gonna go ahead and post it because once we post it, YouTube doesn't let us edit it at all, so we're locked
Oh,
in. So
I didn't know that about Community.
what they don't want you to like put a question up and then like go back and edit it so it's another question to fake the get it fake results. So they make you.
Yeah.
So does that look good?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. There we go. It's posted. So we'll come back to that later and take a look at it. Now, as
Nice.
Star Wars, what is your favorite Star Wars? Do you like all of Star Wars?
I mean, I like the prequels and the wait and the originals,
Okay.
but I didn't. I liked the Force Awakens, but then after that one, they kind of Disney lost me. The Force Awakens was like nostalgic and kind of met all the needs of the Star Wars community to a certain extent, but then it just kind of went downhill and I kind of lost interest. But I grew up with the prequels, the episodes 1 through 3. So those are my childhood, and those are the ones that are the most nostalgic to me. And then the originals as well, but I feel more connected to the prequels because those are the ones I saw in the theaters. Um, and I remember still going to see episode 3. I was really young. My mom had to cover my eyes when Anakin gets burned.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, I was like 6 years old. So, and it's just a great memory, to have. I grew up, getting not all the toys, but a lot of them, a lot of the figures, the Legos, the games as well. I still have all of it, and it's just I don't know. It's a big part of my upbringing. I don't even know how I got into it, to be honest,
Oh,
but I loved it.
that's cool. I would tend to agree with you that when it comes to the newer movies, I watched The Force Awakens. I thought it was pretty cool. The second one came out was with what was it called? It wasn't not the
The
Last
Last
Jedi.
Jedi.
No, not the one
Yeah.
that before that. There was another one before that. It was
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yes, Rogue One. I thought that was kind of okay, and then the Last Jedi came out, and then that's where I felt like okay, that's where it went
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah. But I am very excited about the Kenobi series coming soon. Oh my god. That's like my childhood, basically.
What is the progress of that? I heard I know that who I forget the actor's name. Forgive me. What's his name again? I
Ewan
know.
McGregor.
Yes, he's been he's going to be reprising his role, which is
Yes.
and I like Star Wars, but I would have to say I'm not as big of a fan as you are. So,
Hmm.
but I would if because Ian McGregor is in that, I will go out of my way to watch that. That's for sure. Because I've admired him as an actor. He's everything he's been in. He's always been very good, especially when
Yeah.
he's played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the movies, the prequels. I thought he did an excellent job. So, and as far as what I heard, it was just going to be like a mini series. Is that correct?
I think it's gonna be like a one time, like a one season thing. Um, but I also Hayden Christensen is coming back as Anakin and Darth Vader, which is a big deal. That's my favorite character. Um, but yeah, there I love Ewan. I just saw his recent show Halston, which was great. I loved it. Um, he's just amazing, and but honestly, it's Disney has mostly focused on like kind of getting back to the originals, but I'm very happy that they're finally like paying attention to the prequels because I feel like they deserve attention as well, like for like people like me who grew up with them. I understand that a lot of people who grew up with the originals don't like them, But it's just like, the kids who are growing up with the sequels, the Disney ones, they're gonna love it too when they're, adults and stuff. They're gonna look back like, wow, I loved The Last Jedi, even though a person like me, I'm gonna be like, oh, I did not like that one, and you as well, Zoom. um so I think it's a matter of perspective and generation. But yeah, I'm very excited to see Kenobi.
The as far as the as my I'll give you my opinion as far as the prequels go. I'm not a big fan of the first and second one. For
Hmm.
me, they get a little long-winded and drawn out sometimes, a little boring in some ways. The third one
Yeah.
is better. And
Hmm.
I do appreciate it, but unfortunately, some of the writing, the scripting, the dialogue is kind of clunky sometimes.
Yeah.
So, and but I still think it's probably if I had to pick one, that would be the best out of the three for me.
Yeah.
So. But I would have to say I don't hate them. I'm just not a big fan of that group. I would have to
Yeah.
say the first two, the first, I'm sorry, the first, the original series. I like the first one, the second one, the third one, kind of. The third one, Return of the Jedi, it's kind of weak. It has too many puppets for me,
Yeah.
and it's uh, it's not bad, but it's just the first and second one seem to get kind of dark. Well, the second one got kind of dark. The Empire Strikes Back, and it felt really like they're trying to get in depth and a lot of emotion into it. But then the third one just felt like a funky ride almost. It's just like, or
Yeah.
just there was no fear of that. You felt like you knew they were going to win. There was no fear of losing, and it kind
Hmm.
of made me feel like the third movie was just not as good as the other two because of that. So, and when it came to it gets back to the prequel movies, Return Revenge of the Sith, you had that feeling: are they going to survive? Well, you knew certain characters were going to survive, obviously,
Yeah.
but it was much darker, and it got closer to that Empire Strikes Back feel that I liked. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I Because you were saying, like, the first and second movie are not the greatest, and then the third one has weird dialogue. And what to that I always say, like, I feel like the prequels were a huge missed opportunity, because when you take a look at the intentions behind the script, and like the reasons for everything, and the lore and whatnot, you realize George Lucas is a genius. He's just not a good, like, dialogue writer, and
yes.
I don't think he should have been the director. um, I feel like he should have been responsible for the story, and then he should have given that off to people who knew what they were doing in terms of the direction and the script writing and the screenwriting. Because I feel like the whole story behind Anakin and his intentions
Oh my goodness! Wow,
were
that was
just,
almost so bad.
they were it's a masterpiece. Like, the whole idea behind Anakin and how he became Darth Vader, it's a masterpiece. But the way that it was done did not connect with the audience for such basic reasons. Like, if you notice, the originals, the dialogue is so simple, it's so, like, human. And it's because George did not do the writing. I don't even think he directed it. He just wrote the story and was, like, in the set and whatever. But um and then the problem was where he got too much power. Oh no.
Oh, that's fair. Everything okay?
I
You're
oh
good.
oh
I
I'm
could.
sorry. I thought the power went out. I'm sorry. We've been having some mad power issues. But no, we're all good. Wow, that was scary. I'm sorry. I was just saying that, George Lucas, he got a lot of, like, well, he self funded all of the prequels. He did not rely on Hollywood or anything or anybody or any massive production No, he funded it all himself. But he did that so he could have full control over the project, and that is, I think, why it just didn't work, because he had too much control. When he did the original trilogy, he didn't have the money to self fund everything and do it all his way. He had to rely on others' creative vision as well.
And I agree with that entirely. And when I don't know if you're familiar with how the first two movies were made back in '77 and '80 with Gary Kurtz. Are you familiar with Gary Kurtz?
I not too much. I haven't read up too much on it, but
He was
I know the name, I think.
basically the first two movies were basically a collaboration with George Lucas and Gary Kurtz. And Gary Kurtz, if would often, uh, if he didn't like something, he would be able to get George to modify and change it. And those the first two movies
Mm-hmm.
are definitely the best two in my opinion out of all those movies. And Gary Kurtz left for the production of the third movie, and that's the one I don't really like as much. And you can see there's a major difference between that. You can see how it changed it dramatically. And by the time the prequels came out, Gary Kurtz was long out of the picture, and it was just
Yeah.
George, like you said, by himself. And so
Yeah.
I always thought Gary Kurtz leaving was a major part was a major fault. I mean, he should have remained with the movie. It just as he was just as influential as George Lucas was for the first two movies. They both had major input, and he's not given enough credit, in my opinion, for that. So, and
Clearly.
like you said, yeah, he would George Lucas came in there, he had too much power, just not enough people questioning it. I
Mm-hmm.
always look at George Lucas as like a very good businessman. He hit something. He was almost like a lottery winner. He knew what he was doing. He won this. He got all this money from the first movie, and he knew how to manage it properly, make Industrial Light and Magic. All these other production companies. He was very good at that. But as far as the writing goes, he knew what the stories were, but he just couldn't create the dialogue, and he just couldn't really direct
Mm-hmm.
as well. So, and he
Yeah.
needed that part. He needed that help in those areas. So, but
I do
I think you and I
admire. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. I was finished. I was finished.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh. I was just gonna say that I do admire his I guess his strength in doing what he wanted despite all the hatred that he got and still gets. That that must take a lot of courage to keep doing what like what where you're like doing what your heart wants even when the world is telling you to stop. Um, I admire that, but at the same time, I guess I do wish he would have been a little more open to being creatively questioned because I feel like maybe his outcome would have been much different had he done the prequels the same or similar way that he did the originals. If I had I've never done a feature length film, but I definitely like if I ever do one, I do want to have like other people around me because and even with my recent films like starting small, it was a collaboration. Like my best friend helped me film it, but then in the post production I consulted a lot of the project with other people and like asked them like, oh, what do you think of this so far, like would you change anything, because I feel like if I limit the film to just my perspective, there might be things that I miss out on. And I'm currently working on another film right now, which is, it tells more of a real life story. And I've had to consult with a lot of people about it. And, they've told me, like, oh, this is great, but I would advise you to get rid of this because it might not hit so well with, the audience, or this part's too boring, or stuff like that that I as the creator miss out on because I think everything's great.
So as far as the movies, is this what you plan on doing as a career, or how would you plan on expanding upon this?
I mean, I that's the hope. I guess I would love to make a career out of making my films. I've been trying to since 2016 or 2017. um oh, here comes another one. um I would love to, but that's the thing. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. I'm going to keep trying, and I work really, really hard. Like, people don't realize how hard YouTubers work, behind the scenes on their videos. I edit every single day. I don't kill myself editing, I definitely have a balance and whatnot, but you know, it's an everyday effort, and I I hope it takes me somewhere, but I definitely feel like I'm in the right place, you know, with opening this new film channel. um I feel myself finally kind of falling um into, I guess, the place where I creatively fit, and where I feel like I like being. Because in the past, I you know, like a lot of people, I mimicked others a lot and kind of what was trendy. But then I was like, this is no fun. I want to do what's in my head, not what's cool, you know?
So as far as the kind of movies you want to make, what do you plan on doing? As far you had the first movie, the movie that the second one I saw, I don't know if you refer to as a movie, was what your experiences when Hurricane Maria, was that what it was called,
Yes.
came through?
Yes.
Through.
That was my first documentary. Oh,
It's very loud there. I hope everyone's safe there where you're at right now.
oh yeah, it's just been like every single day, um, thunder and lightning, and I'm just literally hoping my power doesn't go out. The power grid in Puerto Rico is kind of a mess.
Yeah. So, so how did the Maria? I saw the entire video that you made, your documentary about that, and that
Thank
was,
you.
it was very moving because I was like, I never realized how bad it was. I mean, I never actually got watched any on the ground footage. I saw
Hmm.
you moving through there, and I thought the devastation was actually worse in some areas based on what I'd seen before, as far as like news coverage. But what I saw was with you, it's some of the stuff was still standing, and you got to actually see the people surviving afterwards,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it was very I was concerned, obviously, was what I guess concern is the main word I'm thinking of for those people, because how bad was it for you and everyone else? You know, you would describe that in the documentary, of course, but I mean, as far as like you had to actually, it was so bad you actually had to move. Is that correct? I remember you saying that, right? To Florida, right?
Oh, dang. My dog's freaking out a little bit. Um, but yeah, the reason why maybe some of the news coverage showed worse images was probably because they were documenting the most affected areas of Puerto Rico, and I don't live in. I live in the city, so you know, I guess my area was the more um, the one that was, I guess, better off. But I say that lightly because we still had a lot of destruction, and especially like to like the power grid and the water systems. It was awful. And yes, I had to leave. I had to leave the island because I almost left on a military plane. Like
Wow.
like they gave me the opportunity to do that with like leaving with nothing but the clothes on my back, but I didn't do it because I, you know, I have dogs. I had at the time. Oh gosh, jeez. I had dogs at the time, and my mom. I didn't want to leave them. I wanted to leave with them, so I stayed. But eventually, two plane seats cleared up, and we left. Um, but it was really difficult because it was like leaving without having any certainty of coming back. You know.
And
Um, mhm.
as far as you leaving, as far as leaving, did you have to leave because there just wasn't any like any food, water? Is that the main reason as to why you left? And as far as your home, was everything okay when it came back? I would be very scared that something would happen to it if I wasn't around. You know, if something like that happened to me. Was everything okay at when you came back?
Well, yeah, we had to leave because I mean, there was a humanitarian crisis. There was, you know, in order to get gas for your car, you needed to be on a like a 16-hour line, and still you had no guarantee that you would get any gas. And you know, the supermarkets were like closed or like super um limited. Like I went to a Kmart in the documentary, and we needed to be escorted by an employee because they did that so that people didn't steal things,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, there was like no water, there's barely any gas, no power at all. Oh gosh. My
Oh,
dog yanked out the power cord. Um, and yeah, we had to leave because it was not a very habitable place to be. You know, I was desperate to leave. I did not want to be here.
oh wow, I
And
didn't know that. I did not know that at all. So
yeah,
okay.
I think in the end of the documentary, I kind of showed like this clip of me just like being frustrated because I couldn't. Every day was hunter and gatherer. We had to go gather supplies, find this, find that, take care of this. Like every day was just like a hustle to survive, you know. And that was exhausting because I it wasn't we weren't living like normally. And I remember when I left, we went to Florida with my grandparents, and I just remember like arriving and everything being normal. Like there wasn't a crisis. Like I was sitting in a house with air conditioning and Wi-Fi, and I was after 2 weeks of like living in a post-apocalyptic world. You know, it was really really weird. And yeah.
And as far as when you got back, was everything that would be to me not being near my home. When you got back, was everything still there? I mean, I would be afraid of looters, vagrants, people trying to, squatters coming in and taking over your place, things like that. Was there anything that bad? Was it okay? How bad was it for you when you came back?
Well, my mom came back after just a week after leaving because she had a job at the time that required her to come back. But she regrets it because she came back and then her job was so unstable. Like she would go to the office and then would be sent home because they didn't the generators didn't work. It was super unstable, and I ended up staying in Florida and dropping out of school because everybody was just telling me, like my friends and my family, they were like, "Do not come back," because I wanted to come back. I felt very alone and I felt very selfish. I guess I had a little bit of like survivor's guilt, even though nobody close to me died, at least. But um, yeah, I felt like I'm sitting in this house with like all these necessities and like Wi-Fi, AC, everything. And meanwhile, my family and my friends are back home, like suffering in the dark. Jeez, that one scared me.
Wow, that was very intense right there. That last one.
But yeah, so I didn't worry about looters because my mom was home. I worried about my mom because she was alone in the house, but she had like company and stuff. And we had a dog, so she wasn't like totally alone. Um, but yeah, it was a very lonely experience for me because even though I was with family that I had never lived with, and I was 19 at the time. I had never really left my home either. So it was, I didn't have any friends. My family members were either too old or like little kids, so I had nobody to like confide in. Um, and it was very tricky. It was like I was physically like well, I had everything that I needed, but I was mentally a wreck. Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, everybody was like physically a wreck and mentally as well. Oh, sorry about my dogs.
That's fine. So how many dogs do you have so that you brought that up?
Well, now I have quite a bit. I have 3 dogs, but at the moment we have 4 because we're taking care of another one, and I have 3 cats. This is quite an interesting interview with all these thunders.
I think it's the most thunder I've heard in any of these interviews I've ever had. So you win the
I hope
prize
it's
for
not
that.
interfering
No,
with the
it's
audio.
fine. It's fun actually. It's not interfering with the audio either. I can hear you loud and clear, so we're good. So
Yeah, oh my god, I'm crossing every finger that I can that the power doesn't go out.
you have a house full of it's 4 dogs and 3 cats. You said 3 cats,
Yeah.
right?
And we have
And
outdoor cats too, like that they come eat here.
and these are these going to be is this? Are you like the local humanitarian aid for the refuge of pets, or how does are you?
Well, my mom, she loves to rescue animals, sometimes a little too much. So that's how we always end up with so many pets. Oh gosh. Jesus. Every single day at this time, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
It's pretty funny. It's good. We're fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I hope it passes, gosh. I'm just so worried about my power.
Uh-huh. The
But we'll get through it.
I want to make sure you know this. It's actually pretty good. I actually like this stuff. It's kind of it makes it like we're living on the edge almost. For this is most most daring interview we've ever done so far. So
Yeah, I mean, this is I kind of expected it, but I didn't expect it to be so bad because every day's been like this. I'm like, is it really gonna keep being like this? Like, what? How many more clouds is the sky gonna? Anyways, you were saying,
we were talking about your mother with her rescuing of different.
yeah, yeah. She's rescued, especially in the pandemic. She lost her job, so she's been like really bored. Wow. I'm gonna have to lower the gain on this microphone. Jeez. I'm gonna blast people's ears.
Would be kind of interesting if you had a dual camera there so we could see this lightning. Can you see it as well? I assume you
No,
can.
because I have roll windows. I'll show you. These are my windows, so I can't really see anything
Oh,
outside.
okay. Okay. I'm expecting to see like some spectacular light show or something, but I guess the thunder is good enough, I guess. So
I was almost killed by a lightning once, so I'm a little bit scared of them.
goodness, were you actually struck by lightning? Or
No, but my grandmother and I were once getting out of the car in front of her house, and she lives on like a street that doesn't have many trees, so it's like pretty exposed. And there was like this huge black cloud over us, and we got out of the car, and my grandmother's like this old lady. I have to hold her to take her up the stairs, and we were just walking. Oh my
wow.
god. Jesus. That one scared me. That was like right there.
Wow. Your reaction was so cool. That was so cool.
Wow. Well, anyway, so yeah, my grandma and I, so we were like walking, right? And a lightning literally went like this over us. Like it was going directly towards us, but then went like this. You know how lightning's kind of curved sometimes?
Uh-huh.
So that's the story. And I remember I went like this, and I saw the light of the lightning just like flash into the concrete because it was during the day. And I swear, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I almost died.
Wow, that's an interesting story. I don't think I've ever been that close to lightning, so I cannot relate to that. I so that I that's a as far as any other was there any other life uh I anything in your life that was that I mean remotely close to that? I'm just curious. You've
Like other near death experiences.
yeah, that's the word I was trying to find there. Yes.
Yeah. Well, one time my dad and I were driving. I was like 13, and we were driving at night, and we were driving next to this area. It's we were driving next to this area that was it was like a ghetto, but like a really like a like a hot zone, to put it that way. I don't know how you would put it. And somebody from that ghetto threw a rock at us, like a giant rock, and it landed on the corner of of the front windshield. Is that what you say? How you say it?
Yes. Like the windscreen in front of the
Yeah, yeah, the front window of the car, and that just like it broke the window, and my dad kind of lost control of the car. But not only that, I almost went blind because the thing shattered, and I got like, it rained glass all over me, like almost
Oh,
like, and I don't know how, like I had pieces of glass in the back of my head.
my
I don't know,
goodness.
and but not a single one landed in my eyes because I went like this, and I think it was a miracle, honestly, because like if I had glass in the back of my head but none in my eyes, like that was straight up like lucky.
Right. The this was the window, so the front window, right? Because the in
Mm-hmm.
most cars, they're designed to the glasses to shatter into very small pieces to protect you from that. Were these glass shards large and sharp, or were they very tiny?
No, they were like microscopic,
Yeah.
like because the it didn't break, like it just made a hole in the glass, but it stayed intact. But I got sprayed in glass, almost like if somebody sprayed water, but it was glass
Hmm.
all over my body. And
So,
my dad didn't get anything because he was on the other side.
were you driving through a riot? Why would someone throw a rock at you like that, or
No,
whatever?
it was like 10 p.m. at night. We were going home, um, and it's like somebody was. It was like an expressway, and the ghetto was to the right, and it was like these buildings, almost like projects, that type of living
I
areas.
got you.
And it's like it's almost as if somebody was standing in one of those buildings and threw a rock as a prank or something. That's what I thought of it. And it's weird because shortly after that those projects were demolished. It's weird. I don't know.
Interesting. I've had my experiences going through very shady neighborhoods, but fortunately for me, I've never had anything that scary. I mean, that, that is
No,
an
I
interesting.
also have. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. I've had other situations as well, but I can't. I think one time my mom accidentally, because I was sick, and instead of giving me the medicine that the doctor gave me, she accidentally gave me one of her like antibiotics for like acne or something, because the pills were literally identical, the
Yeah.
ones that the doctor gave me. But because the doctor gave me one that was chewable and tasted bad, but it tasted like a like grape or something. When my mom gave me her antibiotic and I chewed it and it tasted like a horrible antibiotic pill, I spitted it out. But I think there was another time where I think I almost overdosed on something, but I can't remember. I had to have my stomach pumped. I was like a child. It was like one of those parental mistakes.
Oh goodness. So
So yeah, I've had my.
go back to the antibiotics. What happened to you? I mean, did anything happen that was with that? It doesn't seem like that would be very bad though, if you're just chewing on an antibiotic, because that's not going to really kill you or anything. So,
Well, I guess it's because I was a really little kid. So, and I just had chewed and partially swallowed an antibiotic for an adult.
oh, okay,
Like like an acne antibiotic, like
gotcha.
minocycline or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, so as far as getting your stomach pumped, but that was, I mean, that sounds like a traumatic experience. I mean, what's that
I
like?
don't remember. I don't. I was like 3 years old, so I have no recollection of it.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
that was on another occasion that I think I was also sick, and my mom just gave me too many medication, and like she was like freaking out and didn't know what to do.
Well, fortunately, you're okay.
Yeah,
I've heard about stomach pumps. I was just wondering how that worked. If they actually stuck something down your throat, or how they did that.
they just give you medication to puke. I think
Oh,
I
is that?
remember that.
Oh,
You
okay.
just puke and puke and puke until it's all out.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
like if you accidentally overdose and you make yourself puke to because you're like, oh gosh, what did I do? I've never done that, but I've seen it in movies.
No, I wanted to ask you if we could. I would change the subject just a little
Of
bit here.
course.
As far as the movies now, how many movies do you plan? I mean, how many movies do you plan on making? Like within, I don't know, the next year? Is this like going to be a regular occurrence? Do you think, or do you think this is there's going to be I know you want to move into this. Do you think it's going to be more of a hobby, or do you think it'll be more of a passion, or more of a career? How do you feel about when you, sometimes if you go on a job interview, they'll say, where you will be in 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Where do you think you'll be in the next year, or maybe 5 years?
Well, um, I it feels like a hobby, but I treat it like a future career. I feel sometimes like this film channel is my future, you know, because as much as I love gaming, like I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be when I was like 15. You know, I just it's like what I used to wind down. It's like Netflix, you know. But films is, you know, I've always been a creative person since even before I started YouTube. Um and it's just it's like that essential part of me that has never gone away. And it's like one I don't know, like it's like those things like I can't imagine myself doing anything else. And I've tried different, you know, chasing different careers. I've had different majors in college, and I just never. It was like those things. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be this. A couple months later, I don't like it anymore. And film and art is just like that thing that no matter how hard I try to run away from it, always ends up pulling me back in. And I would love for it to be a career, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to, you know, try and make that happen. I mean, I am actively working on I mean, I've been making videos for 10 years. I feel like that's a pretty that's a testament to how much I've wanted this my whole life, or most of my life.
What
And mhm.
I was going to say, one of the things I used to say, I used to be a teacher. So one of the things I
Oh,
used to
okay.
tell my students was, because I used to teach people, for students who were trying to get into broadcasting or the recording industry.
Oh, nice.
And what I used to tell them is, unfortunately, when you try to get into a business like that, you have to meet the people, and the way you get the jobs is you basically know somebody, and then that person hires you, and you get into the business, and then you meet other people, and you network, and that's how you get your name expanded. I would assume that maybe something might be similar in the movie industry, that you have to know somebody, and then to really get your foot in the door. Unfortunately, unless you make something that's so groundbreaking that it really that it grabs everyone's attention. And
Hmm.
I think what I saw so far was really well done. But
Thank you.
what I would say though is, if those you the connections are probably very important too. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
hate to say that, that's just the way it usually tends to be when it comes to this kind of industry. And I if do you know anybody in movies or anything that could help you move on?
Well, at the moment, I'm working like the movie I told you I'm working on. I'm actually being assessed by a pretty well-known producer. I'm not gonna say her name because I'm not sure if she wants me to share her details, but she's pretty well known here, and because the movie I'm making is not only for me for my YouTube, it's also for my thesis to graduate from college.
Mm.
Um, and so I guess you could say that's the connection I have at the moment. But I have worked with other people in the past that are in the industry. I did some free work, to put it that way, when I was starting out for this it was like a theatrical play, and I was hired as one of like the behind the scene crews and whatever. You know, and I've met a lot of people because I did try out film school and I did meet people there, but I realized really fast that I wasn't interested in the industry. I because I just I mean I know how it works. Like, you know, you kind of have to climb the ladder a little bit in the industry. You have to start out, you know, like as a PA or something like that, and then you kind of build your way up until you get higher ranks and stuff, unless, you know, by some reason you jump that somehow.
Hold on a second.
Um,
Can you jump back for a second? PA, is that production assistant, or what does that mean?
yeah, production assistant, or personal assistant, you know, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay, I just want to make sure I understood what that
Yeah.
meant. Okay.
And so I didn't like film school because I had to like go through all these different classes that I didn't like, so to eventually someday start doing what I wanted to do. And I say that lightly because you do what you want within the structure of the film school and their instructions. And I formally studied music as well for 8 years, and it was a pretty rigorous training. I have the training to get into Berklee College of Music if I wanted to, but in the process of doing that, it killed my creativity. I'm not an active musician anymore because I completely got turned off because of like the army like training that I received in like every aspect of music you can think of. And so when I started film school, it was the same thing, and I could sense it all over again. Like I knew if I stay here, this is gonna kill my love for film. And I know film school is good for other people, but it's just for me, it didn't work out. And so yeah, and the same goes for the industry. I feel like I'm not really interested in it. I feel like YouTube is such a huge opportunity for so many people to kind of do exactly what they want to do without needing to be a part of a giant industry or something like that. As well as some people love the industry and that's exactly where they want to be. They want to be the next what's his name, Steven Spielberg or something. And if you want to be a Steven Spielberg, you got to go through the industry, I guess.
Uh-huh. Do
But
you
I
you know how Steven Spielberg got his start, right? I don't know if you know how he started. He didn't go to college.
I did see his documentary, but I forgot. Can you refresh my memory?
He would sneak into movie studios and pretend he worked for them, and he got to know the people that were there, and so he got to know the people, and so they eventually he actually got hired on, and he was able to move up into the ranks and become the person that he was. I
Wow.
was
Yeah, I remember now.
I thought that was pretty cool how he did that. So I remember when I was going to school, my one of my recordings, actually the classes I taught in school were taught to me by someone else when I was younger, and he told me the same thing. He said, "Why don't you go to a radio station and hang around the radio stations,
Yeah.
and then see if you can get there?" Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way in radio where I work. They'll probably call the
Okay.
security and haul you away. So, but the idea of hanging around and getting to know people is,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting that's what I was leading up to before is if you
Mm-hmm.
hang out with the people and you hopefully get you something that you can move up and get something that's more what you like and expand your what you're trying to achieve, I guess is what I would
Yeah.
say. So
Yeah, and I was also gonna say that I tried being a freelance filmmaker, like getting hired for jobs, like, and I did get some jobs where I was paid and stuff, to do things that were not up to me. They were other people's projects, and I also just like I didn't enjoy doing that at all because I feel like I feel like I was forcing myself to do it, and I just that's why in college I ended up studying something that has nothing to do with film. I just kind of did like counseling and stuff because I was like, I want my degree to have nothing to do with what I really like, what I love, because I don't want it to kill my creativity, Um, I want to keep that as far away as possible from my passion. Um, and yeah, so I where I like I ideally would love to, you know, keep uploading to YouTube and hoping that that gets my art and my films where I want them to be. And I mean, I've had reasons to believe that that can work. Like my Hurricane Maria documentary took off, and that really gave me hope. Like, you know what, I can do this,
I
and I don't have to rely on an industry for it. I think that my documentary got far more views than it would have had I just submitted it to a film festival or something, which most people are rejected.
I think your video got so many views because you showed what it was actually like instead of just trying to sensationalize everything.
Yeah.
You gave a real down to earth. Everyone could see what was going on versus like you said, how the news just focused on the devastation, the pure devastation. And you
Yeah.
showed what was going on and we got a real life perspective versus just it's what the flash, a flash of what was going on. It was really in depth. It was really, like I said before, really well done with that. So
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't shy away from it was really intimidating though, because I had never been vulnerable like that for my audience. I had always been like this bubbly gamer chick on YouTube, and that was the first time where I showed myself vulnerable, going through adversity, pretty significant one, might I add. um and I didn't intend it to be a documentary. I shot the whole thing because I kind of wanted to post a little video to show people what I had been through, and also kind of let everybody know that I was alive. But in the process of making it, it just turned into a documentary, I guess.
the one of the things I thought was interesting was, as it goes on, near the, I guess closer to the beginning, you make reference to how, we dodged a bullet or something, but
Yeah.
and then you realize, oh, that wasn't what that there was still another. What was that? Was that another hurricane that came in first, or was that a wave of the same hurricane? What was that exactly? I remember that, and then you were like, after that, then the real devastation came in. So
Yeah, that was Hurricane Irma, which was supposed to hit us, not directly, but it was supposed to hit us. But we literally dodged it. It was like, I think, like 50 miles away from the island, the eye. And because it was like far enough for us not to, we just had like a couple fallen palm trees and 6 days without power, and that was like it, you know. But then when we were like starting to get back on our feet from that hurricane, which, by the way, that hurricane exhausted all of the all of the water and food in the supermarkets, because people freaked out, because it was a category 5 hurricane. Who wouldn't be freaked out? So then Maria was announced literally, like, I think it was a week later or something, or maybe a little bit more. And we were barely just like getting back to our lives after Irma. And now there's this monster hurricane directly coming here, and we've already like emptied out all the shelves. So then it was, people started to freak out even more because we were not prepared for it at all. And ever since that hurricane, every hurricane season is like so tense here, because like, the island still hasn't really recovered. We're still scratching the surface of recovery. And um if we were not prepared for Hurricane Maria 4 years ago, we are far less prepared now, because we're like I said, the power grid here is a mess. Yeah, I was scared of the power going out because there was a couple lightning, but there wasn't even any rain. um and so yeah, it's always like, my God, Jesus Christ, Lord have mercy, please. Like, we cannot handle a hurricane. And thankfully, this season so far, there has been nothing. Um, and we're almost done with the peaks. So, yeah, that's good. But every year, it's like hurricane season starts, and everybody's like, get on your knees and start praying.
the as far as before, what was the mentality before then? Because if, I mean, hurricanes have been an issue before, though, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's Maria is just the one that just brought everything more into the forefront, I guess, as far as how people are now just more terror. Is that the general consensus everywhere where you are?
What do you
As far
mean by that?
general, does everyone feel the same way? Are they that afraid whenever hurricane season
Yeah.
comes along? Oh,
Well, after Maria, everybody hates hurricanes here. It's awful because we were not prepared for it. And because, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, not a state, we're kind of in the bottom of the list of priorities when it comes to the U.S. Um, it's because, at the same time that we had Hurricane Maria, there was Hurricane Harvey and Irma, which blasted Florida, and Harvey was in Texas, I think. And, those places recovered relatively fast. And here we are 4 years later, Puerto Rico's still kind of in the slump.
so
Um,
you
mhm.
didn't get, I remember I do remember vaguely seeing. I don't forgive me. You have to forgive me because I don't know how the political structure works on Puerto Rico. Do you have a who is the leader as far as how does that work on Puerto Rico? Do you have like a mayor? I don't know. I'm sorry.
We
The
have a
governor.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
we have a governor, but the governor doesn't have much of a say because everything that we want to do, we have to run it by the US. And the US is who gets to decide everything. So, in a way, Puerto Rico's kind of like the US's little puppet.
Okay.
But going back to the question that you had asked me, which was like, how did we feel before Maria about hurricanes? Um, Personally, I never even noticed hurricane season before Maria. I don't think many people did, to be honest, because before Maria, we only had one hurricane that was a category 1 in 2011, which was Irene. And I remember that hurricane. I slept through it and then it was fine. It was no big deal. Um, but other than that, like from 2011 to 2017, there was nothing. You know,
Mm.
I don't remember anything at least. And so, you know, we were not used to it. Before Maria, the last hurricane that was that bad was like in 98, you know? And it was a category 3.
Mm.
So these things they were not that common in the last 20 years.
I honestly, I did not know. I thought where you were located, I thought it was very common. I did not know that was so sporadic like that.
Well, I guess we are in the hurricane trajectory because, we're like next to Florida and stuff like that. And Florida's, notorious for not caring much about hurricanes. Um, but I guess here in Puerto Rico, we're just used to having major hurricanes like every 20 years or so.
Wow.
So in the meantime, nobody expects anything. But after Maria, and because the last time we had a Category 5 hurricane, I think, was in the 1920s.
Oh, so
It
way
was
back.
over 100 years ago. So, the fact that we got the 100-year anniversary hurricane, it definitely sets us up with a mentality that future generations might not have because they're not going to be born or they're not going to have grown up during a time where we experienced such a catastrophic hurricane, which, by the way, Maria killed just as many lives as Katrina. It just wasn't immediate.
How many people did die? I don't know the
I think it
numbers.
was
I
like
know.
4,000.
Wow, was it that many? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because
Wow.
most people, like immediate deaths,
Wow.
I don't think it was that many, but people died because of the lack of resources.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
There's, and
and
that's the
and
same
no
as Katrina.
power, water.
I'm sorry, I over talked to you there. Go ahead, say it again. The power and water.
Oh, yeah, most people died because of the lack of resources, and the hospitals didn't even have resources either to treat patients, and the no power, no water, stuff like that. People died of health conditions and or stuff like that. My grandfather's cancer came back after Hurricane Maria, and he died not too long after. But I'm not sure if that was a direct death, but it was coincidental.
Like a death in the sense that he couldn't get the proper treatment for that because of all the what was going on with Maria. Like it was there was just wasn't enough resources to help him. Is that what you mean?
No, he did have resources. He died in 2019, but his cancer came back as a result of all the stress and the anxiety, as well as the diesel from the generators, because he
Oh, I
was
see.
in remission when the hurricane hit. And then a couple months later, his cancer came back with a vengeance, and it was like, what?
I see what you're saying.
It's
I
coincidental.
gotcha. The it sounds like the thunder has moved on, but I will say
Yes.
you're moving your microphone around, and it kind of sounded like the thunder for a second there. So,
No, I just stretching my leg.
oh, so, so as far as if you were to tell the my viewers, what would be the best channel to watch you on right now? As far as which one would you want them to watch the most?
Um, well, obviously, I want most people to check out my films because that's where my heart and soul are at. But realistically, I'm always on all three of my channels, you know, and I would say that I upload more often on the game channels because those are easy videos. The film channel, you know, they take time to make, um, but I really I think if I were to choose one of my channels, it would be my film channel because um, I would literally start it over. You know, I have like 20,000 subscribers on my main channel, like the original gaming channel, and I was willing to walk away from all that just to start my film channel and dedicate myself to that because that's how much I care about it.
That is a, and also the fact that you named it the same channel name as your channel used to be, your primary channel used to be called. So
Yes.
it's a very daring move, but considering that in this time, it is extremely difficult to start a channel from scratch nowadays. So,
Yeah.
uh, you've if you'd done something like this maybe 15 years ago when YouTube first started, you would have been, you know, it might have been a little bit more, it would caught on a little bit better. But now that everybody's here, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's very hard. You know, it's basically flooded. So you really have to work to try to get it in there, to get something in there. And I saw you got up to 20,000, and
Mm-hmm.
that's quite an achievement. I wanted to
Thank you.
congratulate you on that as well. The how many how did not look at your like your score on Social Blade or anything like that. Is it progressing pretty well right now as far as it's pretty steady or
I haven't seen my Social Blade in years, but I guess if you're talking about growth, you know, it's been pretty stable for the last few years. Obviously, I don't get as much traffic as I did when I was heavily active on it, and that, you know, that's to be expected when you're not as active on a YouTube channel. Um, but it surprised me because I always thought like, oh, if I go on a hiatus, my channel's just gonna die and nobody's gonna watch any of my videos anymore. But you know, I still get a steady like 40 to 50,000 views a month. It's crazy. I'm like, what?
the
Um, mhm.
I did want to ask you, you told me you had one video that really got high up there in the ranks, and I'm looking at the top videos right now, 637,000 for one of your bully for your all
Yes.
six transistor locations. That's
Hmm.
way up there. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you have Vice City, a couple of Vice Cities, and then you have the Grand Theft Auto: The Mission Hijack is also, that's your fourth most highest video.
I don't know why. I'm like, why is that video viral? There's so many other people who have covered this. Why mine? You know,
Yeah,
it's so gnarly.
I'm not sure how YouTube's algorithm works because I have videos that are in the millions of views, and if I upload videos on a regular basis, they'll get maybe 5 to 10,000 at the most. But once in a
Yeah.
while, I get a video that starts scoring up to hundreds of thousands, and then sometimes into the millions. I've never quite figured out how that works exactly, but it
Me
just
neither.
it's just very weird. But my views are not have never been that great. It's just mine's been a steady growth. So people look at my channel and say,
Yeah.
how come you upload a video and only has a couple thousand views? I say that's the way it's always been. It's,
That's
you know,
YouTube.
yeah, so I can't control it. So but the videos, what else did we go through all the games? I want to make sure our viewers know you had Bully, Vice City, San Andreas. Was there which
GTA
oh
3.
you, oh, great, GTA 3, of course. And was there anything else on there that you
I
had?
also did some. I also did some Let's Plays of LA Noir and Max Payne, but I never finished them.
How are those games? I'm glad you brought those up. When Rockstar about a year or two ago came up with a new game launcher, and if you bought Red Dead Redemption 2, there was this thing where you could get two games for free. So I got with that I got LA Noir and Max Payne 3, and
Nice.
I've
Good
never played
titles.
them though. I've never played either of them. Would you recommend them? I got them free, so I guess I've just maybe because I didn't pay for them, I just don't feel like playing them. But would you
Yeah.
recommend those?
Yeah, I loved LA Noir. LA Noir is it's kind of like a role-playing game. There's not much action in it. But it's really really unique. I think I don't think there's anything like it out there. And Max Payne 3 I also played many years ago, and it's just like the old Max Paynes. It's very action oriented, but just HD, compared to the other ones, but also very unique. I love it. I haven't played it though in years.
The as far as any other games out there, do you think you'll ever go back to like making any gaming videos on I know you're doing the Star Wars videos right now. Any other
Yeah.
videos you may do on a regular basis?
Well, I after Star Wars, I do have another game that I want to do, but I haven't finished Star Wars yet. So yeah, but for now, I want to continue doing Let's Plays because, like I said, walk. I don't think I've said this, but walkthroughs, they're very time consuming. Even though they're like shorter videos, they're very time consuming because it's not just making the video. It's also like, you have to plan the walkthrough and organize yourself and educate yourself in the, well, it depends on how you're going to do it, but like before every single one of my bully videos and even GTA 3 videos, I would always go to GTA wiki and like read up on whatever mission I was going to do, or to get a little bit more context and kind of know what I was talking about in the video. Um, because I kind of felt like, I didn't want to just be like, hey, welcome back, let's do this mission. When I was doing walkthrough, I was essentially helping people pass it while also giving them information about it. So stuff like that, like it's time consuming, and I want to put most of that time into my films because that means a lot more to me um, than anything else. And when it comes to the gaming, I have more of a chill approach to it. Just like, I game to chill out and give you some entertainment. But I'm not doing it for educational purposes right now.
I got to say, you talked about the GTA wikis. Be very careful what's on there. I mean, I find a lot of the stuff that's on there is just myth based. Things that people believe, they put it down as fact. So some of that stuff is just not correct. You have to be very careful with.
Okay. Well,
So
that was years. That was like 8 years ago. So probably no, yeah, like 8 or 9. So I think I also visited the GTA forums, but GTA Wiki was like my go-to. But for now, yeah, I've never really gotten that many fact checkers on my GTA history. So I guess that's good.
I will say this. I'm going to bring this up on the screen so we can look at it. This is probably the best GTA wiki page you can go to. It's in two languages, English
Oh,
and
nice.
Um, the difference between this one is it cannot be updated by anybody. It can only be updated by certain people, and so the information in here is actually
Oh,
pretty accurate. It's actually spot on. So, it's
very nice.
so the other ones I've gone through and I've seen things that have already been established as myths that were already that people have already proven as wrong. And I go in there to change them, and they'll say, "No, you can't change that." It's like, okay, whatever, and I just walk away. So it's uh, it's like going to IMDb. If you ever go to the trivia section for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, there's stuff in there that's dated from years ago. It's like been proven mythical, and it's still listed there, and it's like people still believe it because when the myth is said long enough, they start believing the myth rather than what's actually factual. So um,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that's the way the internet is, but I, this as far as the GTA forums goes, that's pretty good because you have a lot of people talking at the same time. So you have the people who don't know anything, who think they know something. Then you have the people who actually do some actual research, who actually know what
Hmm.
they're talking about, and you get a good balance
Yeah.
of what's going on there. So, and a lot of people over there that I liked and respected, and unfortunately, so those people have long since moved on, so they aren't there anymore. But I would
Yeah.
definitely say GTA forums is probably one of the best places for that, for getting
Well, thank
information.
you. I'll ask for the link later on then, just in case I ever go back to that world because I do miss it. I just wish I guess I had more time for it, but I am graduating from college pretty soon, so maybe I will have more time for it soon.
Hopefully you don't do like I did. I upload too many videos every day. I'm uploading like 7 videos every day now. So
Is it your like full-time job?
it's basically it's 1/3 of my total income right now. So
Is that a lot?
it's
I'm not good at math.
so yeah it's basically 2/3. I run my own business, and
Oh,
that's
nice.
so that's 2/3 of my income. The YouTube stuff is 1/3 of my of the rest of that. So it's basically divided into three parts.
Oh,
Um,
so it's like almost like a fourth. Nice.
yeah. So and
Nice.
so it does pay the bills, and it helps in a lot of ways. Of course, I do have 4 channels, and
I'm
oh,
very impressed, by the way, by I'm sorry, I'm so impressed that you have so many channel and you update them so regularly. That's really cool.
yeah, unfortunately, I think because I only upload mostly San Andreas videos, they've some of them have kind of sunk over the past couple of years. So I had a channel that's called my mods channel that used to be really popular, and over the past year or so, it's really died off. So I think I
Yeah.
think I think San Andreas is just becoming less popular. So unfortunately, so I think that's why. And but for a while that channel was skyrocketing. I couldn't believe how popular that one was. So something about the algorithm, it just takes off. I don't know what it is. I've never been able to figure it out. So
Yeah, I just, well, in my experience, I've never had overnight success on YouTube ever. My growth has been slow and steady. I mean, it took me 10 years to reach 20,000 subscribers. And, nowadays you got like, a lot of people in less than 3 years getting to 1 million, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I I used to be really frustrated at that. Like why have I worked so hard and you know all these people blowing up around me and I'm just still like a tiny channel. But in retrospect, I'm glad it hasn't because I don't feel like I was ready for it, at least in the last decade. And I keep thinking to myself, if I'm meant to blow up, I'm gonna blow up at the right time when I'm mentally ready for it. I don't know if I'm mentally ready for it now. I guess, the only way to find out is if it happens, but I definitely do feel more equipped for it than I did in the last decade. But regardless if I blow up or not, I'm always gonna do this because it makes me happy and I love it. It makes me feel like fulfilled, you know.
so what is your what is I don't think we've asked this yet, but what is your favorite 2 questions, a 2-part question. What is your favorite video game, and what is your favorite genre of video game?
Oh gosh, my favorite video game.
Let me do it this way. If someone asked me that question, I'd probably say there are like maybe 2 or 3 games that would be in that.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's better. It's hard to pinpoint one game. Um, I'll give you a top three. I'm not sure. Okay, so I love Uncharted 2. That game is a masterpiece. I love. I wish I could see my games, but they're very far away from me. And I'm going a little blind. GTA 4 is up there as one of my favorites as well. And number three, I would say Jack and Daxter.
Jack and Dexter, I'm not that one. I'm not familiar with. Um,
It's it's from the PS2 era.
Jack and
So it's
Dexter.
like from my childhood.
I've got to look this up now, so I'm going to type this up. Is this? Oh, wait a second. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring it up so we can look at this. Obviously, I'd be careful. I don't want to you play anyone's videos and get them here. I think I've seen parts of this, but that's the game right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is I played that one later in life. I didn't play it in my childhood. I played it when I was like 15 or 14. So it's odd that a game that isn't from my childhood ended up being one of my favorites.
That's pretty interesting. Is this PlayStation? Which one? PlayStation 2? Did you say, or did you say?
Well, it's originally in the PlayStation 2, but I played it in the PS3.
Okay. Was it like a emulated game then? I guess, or
It was
how's it?
a HD collection
Okay.
that back then, Sony did that.
So as far as your like, well, I know we haven't answered the other question about your genre, but what about your
Oh,
favorite platform? What about your favorite platform though?
oh, but well, my favorite genre, I by the way, I would say is action adventure. Specifically linear games. I'm not a huge fan of open world anymore. Um, so like games like Uncharted is why I appreciate them so much. But platform, do you mean like consoles?
Yeah, like do you like yeah, what console? PC, PlayStation, Xbox?
I am a PlayStation fangirl for life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's just I've always been a PlayStation person. I mean I've done my fair share of PC gaming, but I've never had a proper PC rig. So and I don't think I will for at least a long time because you know it's expensive.
So which do you have all the PlayStations then as far or
Yeah.
the most current one?
Well, I don't have the. I never played PS1. I remember the PS1, but I got into gaming when the PS2 came out. Um, so I have the PS2, I have the PSP, I have the PS3, I have the PS4. One day I'll have the PS5. Probably not soon though. When it gets some more interesting games, I'll get it.
The for the I had a friend at work who was like you. He actually came into work one day when the portable one came out, and he was like
Yeah,
showing everybody. So, and I'd never seen it before, and it was like it looked pretty cool. So, I'm a PC gamer, and I do have
nice.
I play the only games I play on console are Grand Theft Auto San Andreas because I want to see how it plays differently on the different platforms. So that's the only I have the consoles just for that reason and that reason only. So um, the
Yeah,
as far as your favorite what was that? What was the other question I was going to ask you? Oh, I forgot already. Sorry. Please, I just had
genre.
yeah the genre and I asked you oh, it was something else. I'm sorry. I completely forgot.
Don't
My
worry,
mind just farted out there. I apologize.
it's all good.
um, I did want to talk about. See, you brought up Grand Theft Auto 4. So, did you like Grand Theft Auto 4 for what? For its story? For its what would you say is its best part?
Nostalgia. I played it when I was 12, so it's very much a part of my childhood. The first GTA I played was Liberty City Stories, and I think honestly that one's also one of my favorites. But GTA 4, I don't know, that game, it was just really captivating because of how realistic it was for its time. Um, you know, that game came out in like what 2007. I played it in 2010, and it was still very impressive. Um, and I was 12. I didn't really understand the story very much, but I just loved the mechanics and the driving and the thing that I loved about GTA so much growing up was that it gave me the freedom that I couldn't have because I was a kid. The freedom to drive around and have a city to explore. Um, it was just so liberating. It was my escape, to put it that way, because um, I don't know. It just I really really loved it, and GTA 4 is just a game that really brings me back to like, being like 12, 13, not having like responsibilities and just kind of gaming it out and you know I loved the missions that it offered, the hitman missions as well, and I don't know, I just really really loved it. It was very revolutionary. Um, and I played it a couple times, and I even 100% completed it as well.
The
That was actually gonna be my walkthrough after GTA 3.
oh,
But Mhm.
did you ever upload any GTA 4 videos? I don't know. I didn't look.
No, I prepared everything for that walkthrough. But then GTA 5 came out and I was like, this is my opportunity for my channel to blow up or something because it was brand new. But the thing is GTA 5 was good, but I didn't love it as much. And so when I started doing that walkthrough, I got bored really fast because I wasn't really enjoying it. I wanted to do GTA 4, but you know, at the time I was like 17 and I still let myself be led by the trends and stuff a lot. And so yeah, I just kind of lost the passion really fast.
I started Grand Theft Auto 5. I got like 33% through, and I stopped playing because I got bored with it. So,
Yeah,
um,
I've only played it once, and I've tried to play it again, but I don't know. I just can't. It's a big story, and it's just like I don't want to go through this again.
no, no, Grand Theft Auto 4, I have like well over 100 videos on my channel for with that one. The way I play the game though is probably different than anyone else plays the game. What I do is I collect, just like with the what like the other videos I was telling you, I go through and I complete everything that can be completed before starting any of the story missions.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I shoot all the pigeons. I collect all the do all the stunt jumps. I do all the most wanted, which can be done if you know how to do it. You have to go into the break into the police car, and you actually have to type in their name first. You can do them all at the very beginning of the game, things like that. And
Wow.
the thing is, I love it because you can do it with a 6-star wanted level, and that is one of the most challenging things I've ever done in any Grand Theft Auto game. So I got to the point. There's no script. There's nothing scripted. Every time you do it, it's random. Every time I do it, it's completely random. So it adds to the enjoyment. I can go in there and do it again and again and again. It's not going to be the exact same thing. So I love going in there and shooting all the pigeons in locked areas of the game where the what do you call it? The FIB is chasing after them. I love that. It's like it's surviving because, and I make sure that every time I make a video, Nico never gets killed. So he has to survive and get out of there. And actually,
Wow.
it's so because of that. That part of Grand Theft Auto is one of my favorite things to do. Is that now when it came to the stories, because I played the game that way, I found them less challenging. So I
Okay.
and even people who watch my videos would say the same thing. They'd say they watch me play these videos with 6-star wanted levels, and they'd say, "Well, when you get to the story missions, you must think it's kind of boring." And I said, "Yeah, it's a little bit boring." So
Yeah.
I played it almost all the way through twice. The second time I played it through, my game glitched, and I never got the call from Brucey to collect the special vehicles. I forget which ones those were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't complete the game to 100% because of that, because it was
It
a
was
glitch.
almost like the Kenji missions. Remember, like if you don't complete them and then you kill him, you're like screwed. You can't complete the game 100%.
Which one was that? Which game was it?
GTA 3.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I barely remember that. Yes, yes. Tell everyone. I forget which mission that is, but I don't but I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember
Yeah.
which describe that mission. So I know and everyone else knows.
I don't remember the name of the mission, but I just remember very specifically telling in my walkthrough like complete the Kenji missions because there's a glitch in the game and if you don't complete them and then you kill him, you permanently cannot get 100%. You're going to have to start over.
Yeah. Was it something to do with the Tanner? One of the Tanner missions where you had to go after Tanner?
I don't remember. I
Uh,
really don't. I'm sorry.
the have you ever played the video game Driver or the Driver series by chance?
No, but I've played Taxi Driver.
The reason I bring it up is because in Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, they poke fun of the video game Driver because at the time Driver was just as popular as GTA was, but
Hmm.
when after San Andreas came out, it skyrocketed and Driver became not as popular anymore. But at the time, you can the mission Get Tanner, which one was that? Was that GTA 3? I can't remember.
Yeah, it
Um,
definitely was. It rings a bell for sure.
that was a way of poking fun of the video game series Driver. So because Tanner's the name of the character from Driver, he's the
Yeah,
character he plays. So and so I always found it funny how they would poke fun of other video games. But now the GTA is so popular, they don't have to do that anymore. They're like way
yeah,
above. So, but back then it was like they were at equal footing or equal what's the right equals. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. They were equal basically. So
yeah,
and
for
there was
sure.
another one called True Crimes. And they poke fun of it in San Andreas by calling it True Crimes, and they instead of
Oh, I
crimes,
don't remember.
It's one of those. It's like a little subtle joke. And True Crimes was a game, that series that only had two, and it just faded off, and people don't remember it anymore. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap everything up here. Before we do, I would like to go back to our question. It looks like we
Okay.
got pretty decent response here. Give me a second while I bring this up. 200 in, I'm bringing it up right now, 228 votes so
Wow.
far. Pretty good. Overwhelmingly, we got 79% with gaming, 11% with comedy. Oh, let me reread the question. What is your favorite kind of YouTube video? 11% with gaming, 6% with your choice. Next, we got 3% with excuse me, and 2% with sports. So, and we
Wow.
got six
I
comments
mean,
so far.
that makes sense because your audience is mostly gaming, I assume. So
Yeah. It usually, in case you're wondering how this community tab works, it seems like the vast majority of people are from my channel. However, YouTube does randomly send these out to people who are watching on mobile devices as well. So we'll get random
okay.
people that are responding to this. Let me put these in the newest order first. I can't read the name. Sorry. It says random actually. What's that name?
Saiful Rizal.
Is okay.
I
Next,
murdered that name. I'm sorry.
we got AI GTA. Oh, it says GTA
All
San
GTA San Andreas fan.
Okay. It says I don't know.
I don't.
Let's see. We got. I'm gonna butcher these names just like you. Sorry. I'm not gonna bother because I don't want to say it wrong. There was one person she's been leaving comments on my videos for years, and I tried to pronounce her name, and when I did, she got all upset because I didn't pronounce it correctly. So
Oh no.
I don't want to make anyone upset with me. So I'll just say tour vlog,
I
tour
like those too.
tour
Tour
vlog.
vlogs. So like people make videos giving a tour of like their apartment or their gaming setups or stuff like that. Those are
Oh,
fun.
okay. I think I've seen some, but I haven't really watched too many. So
Yeah, because
uh,
it's like I don't know, something about seeing other people's stuff is entertaining, I guess.
see, we got gaming vlogs and gaming hacks.
Mm-hmm.
Beloved Memories says, "Bro, please play old games like Halo." I what's that one? IGI? What's
Prince
IGI?
of I I don't know. And then Prince of Persia.
So further, we enjoyed your GTA San Andreas videos. Now it's time to check out other old games. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I get comments like that too.
We got a little smiley face saying gaming, and then a useless thing says gaming as well. So,
Nice. Thank you, everyone. Nice responses.
and thanks for participating in our poll. And also, Lal, thanks for being on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap everything up?
I mean, I just want to thank you. Honestly, this has been really, really cool to be on a. This is like a podcast, right, or like an interview podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Just to give you an idea, the show is called the Working Title Experience because I never came up with a title for the interview show. So, the and we have other shows that are on this channel as well that are interviewed with other people. We do the different topics and things like that. So,
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
this is anytime I bring someone new on like I get to interview you and we talk and chat and see who you are, and hopefully my viewers will get to know you, and that maybe look go over to your channel and get to know you better, and hopefully that makes you grow and become more popular. So
Well, thank you so much, and I'm glad that my videos help pave the way for your own walkthroughs or
yes,
videos in general. Um, yeah, I guess you could say another example of what I was just saying before, like be the trend, I guess. And yeah, I hope anybody watching, if you want to make a channel yourself, I totally encourage you to do that because even though YouTube is flooded with people right now, there's only one version of you, so might as well try it out, right?
yes. There is some. I don't know how this. I'm not going to mention the person's name because I don't want to give them attention. But
Okay.
somebody was able to scam the system. I don't know how they did it, but they make Grand Theft Auto videos, and they are they are in like I think like the 10 million subscriber mark, and they only started their channel like a couple years ago. And I don't know how they did it. And he only
Damn.
it was, I was blown away by the how this worked. The only thing I can figure is that the algorithm on a video, if you have a popular video, sometimes the video after that also becomes popular due to the fact that the previous one was popular. Somehow his first video was popular enough that it just kept the trend going. And every time he uploads a video, I couldn't believe how many subscribers this guy has. He's like, and how short of a time he did it in. And he started off with San Andreas, then he moved to GTA 5, and he hardly ever uploads anymore because it's so popular. He hasn't to do anything. His channel just keeps on growing on its own because the older videos are just that popular. So I don't know how that works, but he doesn't even talk during on his videos. Well, I don't talk on all my videos either, but still, I'm just curious as to how something like that works. People like you, who obviously put so much work and effort into something and do something very well and very informative and also very helpful, and yet he's getting something that's not like that at all, and he's getting through the roof. So I wish someone like you. I wish your videos were much more higher. I really do. But you're doing good.
Thank you.
Not to
Thank
say you're
you.
not, but it's just I think you should be getting a lot more based on, especially since you really helped me out with the GTA 3 and the bully stuff. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't know. It's just, I guess, how life goes sometimes. You know, certain people become the underdog, but I think in the long run, those are the true winners in the end. To put it that way, you know, somehow I don't know what the case is gonna be for me. I may never win, you know, and I've made my peace with that. I might you know I might always stay like where I am, um, but I'm gonna keep working to see if I can reach a higher place, and hopefully we'll get there. But yeah, and I congratulate you on your success. That is really amazing. Like how big of an audience you've developed. That is very impressive as well. Especially with gaming videos, which I think is a very competitive community. But you're a living example that it's completely possible, even though there's already thousands of people who also upload games.
yeah, I honestly, well, some people have asked me how the channels got popular. I told them if I started today, I don't think it would work. Unfortunately, the reason that mine are popular is because I started in 2006 and I
Oh
started
yeah.
uploading in 2007 when things were very, very early on. And that's probably why. If I started today, I seriously doubt I could get anywhere near the numbers I'm getting right now. And that goes, then it's unfortunate, but it's just, it's just the way it is. And YouTube only promotes certain people. And I don't know how they choose who they want to promote, but it's very frustrating for certain people because you can see they put a lot of work into things. I've seen your
Yeah.
videos and it falls in that category. I think you should be getting a lot more views. And
Thank you.
YouTube just doesn't promote them, and I don't know why. And it's just, and other people as well. I watch other people; they make these really great videos about like reviews of movies and TV shows. They put a lot of work into it, and it's like, wait a minute, it's like, how come this hardly has any views? And you're like, this,
Hmm.
I don't get it. I just don't understand how that works. So they have their
Well,
favorite, and
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
What?
I was just gonna say they have their favorite, and those are the ones they promote. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say that in my experience, I agree that it's really difficult today, and part of the reason why I've been able to start two new channels and already have like growing subscriber counts is because of my main channel that has 20,000. I don't know how it would be to start from like complete scratch nowadays. And the reason as to why I was able to grow was because I was extremely consistent for many years. Um, and as well as time, time has been in my favor because, my bully walkthrough when I did it originally, like each video would get no more than like 5 or 6 views, and it took off. It was a sleeper hit. I think that's what they call it. Like it wasn't initially successful at first, but eventually, as time passed, it it just blew up. And I guess that has helped me as well. But yeah, that's why I tell people, like, starting a channel, don't wait, like just start. Even if you don't have all the resources or you don't even know what you're gonna do, just I didn't know I was going to do gaming when I started. I started my channel making like reviews and stuff like that and just random videos. And I guess I just slowly fell into a path like organically, and just like film, I fell into it organically as well. It's not something that I've controlled, and I think that even though it's hard, to be in YouTube, I still think it's possible, if you're consistent, and but most of all, you keep having fun, and doing a little bit every day towards it. I think it's very possible.
That was, I would say that was probably one of the best and most positive things I've ever heard anyone say about how to
Thank you.
about how to do start on YouTube. You hit everything right on the nail, right on the hammer on the head, or so to speak. I guess is the right way of putting it. So you,
Yeah, people always ask me like, "Oh, how do you grow on YouTube?" And I'm like, consistency, but overall just have fun. Because if you're not having fun, that and energy radiates through your content, and I think it affects like how how good of a reaction or outcome you're going to get from your audience.
oh, that's well said. I can't think of anything else to add to that because you said it so perfectly. So, all right, Lau.
Cool.
So, thanks for being on, and
Thank you for
thanks
having me.
everybody for participating in our comment in our poll. And for the next show, we'll. Oh, I'm not sure who's going to be the next show, but we'll see you next time. So, and Lau, hang on there. Don't when I disconnect, don't go
Okay.
anywhere.
Bye, everyone.